This is huge, you guys. The system of checks and balances is working. After weeks of mounting pressure from groups, judges, and courts, the Trump administration has reversed the cancellation of student visa registrations in the United States. So if you are one of the thousands of international students who lost your status over the last couple of weeks for innocuous things like parking ticket violations and arrests that never materialized into a conviction, your status has been restored. Why is this such a big deal, you guys? Because it means that the system is actually working. In a time when we are worried about government corruption, we are seeing that one branch of the government is still going against the other to ensure they are not going beyond their bounds of power. This is a victory that needs to be celebrated.
So here's some major news about, international students who've had their visas revoked for some reasons. There's been a sudden U-turn. So in the past couple of weeks, a lot of international students suddenly had their legal status terminated by the Trump administration. We're talking about students here who studied. A lot of these terminations seem to be based on minor issues or even just old record checks. Chaos erupted, students were facing deportation, their education suddenly came on the line. But some of them didn't just stand by. Some of them, filed lawsuits across the country challenging this sudden terminations. And guess what? In a sudden U-turn, the Trump administration has announced that they are going to restore the legal status for many of these students. So this is a massive development when you think about it, and a huge relief for a lot of people as well, both advocates and supporters. The government says they'll be reactivating those students' records while they work on a new policy of how to handle some of the situations. Now, it's not a total fix because ICE can still terminate status for other reasons, and we need to see what this new policy is gonna totally look like. But for now, this is a big win for the international student community and a testament to the power of fighting for your rights. Yeah, I didn't say so. That's what a lot of them are saying. All right. So if you're an international student or know someone who is affected, you want to share this information, you want to stay informed, you want to know your rights, you want to keep safe as well. And, let's see how it goes.
Score one for lawyers. Yesterday, the Trump administration reinstated 1,500 student visas. It was because lawyers sued the Trump administration for revoking student visas without notice and mostly without cause. All of these students either had minor criminal infractions or were accused of participating in political protests. After the Trump administration was losing case after case after case in court, Department of Homeland Security reversed itself and now has reinstated all of those 1,500 students. But they say they're going to come up with a new process to revoke their student visas, one that is more lawful. So it's not over yet.
Breaking news, the government is reversing all student visa revocations from the past few months. This is literally happening right now. The government is reinstating thousands of students back to active status, just like flipping a switch. Over 6,000 students got their status revoked in the past month, putting many of them at risk of deportation. So far, over 100 lawsuits were filed against the government. This reversal doesn't remove the original revocation from the student records, which could have long-term consequences on all these students. This is not the end of the story. For now, the government is working on policy to determine what they're going to do. For any international students that has any problems in your background, make sure you prepare for any future revocations just like that. For now, these are...
What up, beautiful people? Yo, this is why there is no trust with this regime. There's no trust. Nobody can trust anything they say. They lie so much. They put some shit out in the atmosphere and then they fucking retract it. This just in. Trump administration restoring student visas while ICE develops framework for terminations. The Trump administration is restoring all illegal statuses of international students who have had their records terminated in recent weeks, a government attorney said during a hearing on Friday. Elizabeth D. Carlin, an attorney for the Justice Department, said during the hearing in the Northern District of California that records for international students will be reactivated for the time being as Immigration and Customs Enforcement crafts a new policy that will provide a framework for status record termination. The move comes weeks after the Trump administration began revoking the visas of hundreds of international students, in addition to their records and legal statuses, seemingly taking aim at those who participated in political activism or have had previous charges like DUIs. And that's the thing. They're trying to strip them of their freedom of speech. So if you say anything against this regime and you're here on a visa, they were going to pull you and terminate your visa. But again, some illegal shit that they cannot do. Period. But I digress. It says, ICE still maintains the authority to terminate a SEVIS record for other reasons, such as if a student fails to maintain his or her non-immigrant status after the record is reactivated or engages in other unlawful activity that would render him or her removable from the United States under the Immigration and Nationality Act, Kurland said during Friday morning hearing. Many international students with terminated statuses begin to discover that their records were abruptly restored Thursday afternoon. Immigration attorneys and universities across the U.S. told NBC News the reinstatements occurred with little to no explanation, the attorney says. And the reason for that is these fuckheads know they're breaking laws and they have nothing to back this shit up. I am here to tell you guys, I read an article that Matt Gaetz also went over to El Salvador last summer, met with homeboy. So that's two people that went over there to El Salvador to talk about housing prisoners and paying homeboy over there in El Salvador to do it. And then fuckhead Dementia Don does this aliens act shit so they can go ahead and arrest people and put them over there. The problem is we have laws here in America. You stupid fucks. You can't just get rid of people, arrest people, and all this other shit without motherfucking proof and due process. And the same shit is happening here with these fucking students who are just coming over here trying to, study and fucking make a life for themselves. This is dehumanizing. This is fucked up. And an administration, a regime that has no fucking regard for humans is disgusting. And that's why I say it time and time again. You can never be forgiven from me, MAGA, for this shit. This lies solely at y'all motherfucking feet. Everything that this man does, you're held accountable for because your vote got us here. Own that shit. I hope you have many restless nights.
So the administration has been fighting an uphill battle with this legislation that they were trying to enact, which would basically get rid of all student visas, student and international visas, and eradicate all of them in this file called SEVIS, which holds all of that data, and which would put all of them at risk for deportation. But it's been an uphill battle because every single time they tried to enact this, it would just get struck down again and again and again in court, and it just got struck down again by a federal judge. So therefore, instead of continuing to fight this battle, the administration finally gave up, and now all of those student visas have been rightfully restored in SEVIS. Therefore, those international students can now study and live in the United States. Millions and millions of students.
Some major breaking news for international students. This time, some good news, however. The Trump administration is restoring all legal statuses of international students who have had their records terminated in recent weeks. The move comes weeks after the Trump administration began to revoke the visas of hundreds of students, in addition to their records and legal statuses, seemingly taking aim at those individuals who have been involved in some sort of political activism, i.e. Mahmoud. Many international students with terminated statuses began to discover that their records were abruptly restored Thursday afternoon with little to no explanation. The changes have hit many, but not all students. For example, at UC Berkeley, 12 out of the 23 international students have been reinstated, according to the university spokesperson. Although these statuses have been reinstated, however, the status termination will still appear on their student records, which could potentially jeopardize any future applications for green cards and other types of relief. And make no mistake, the Trump administration didn't simply have a change of heart. It was because the administration's lawyers were unable or unwilling to explain the rationale behind revoking the student visas that they had to be reinstated. So I see this as only temporary. He's going to continue to find ways to revoke statuses of not only international students, but green card holders and other people as well. So this is a temporary fix, but nonetheless, it's some great news for all international students.
The Department of Justice today announced that it was reinstating the information on the immigration system for the students that data was abruptly deleted within the last couple of weeks, effectively meaning they had no status in the United States. Following this deletion of information, there were over 100 lawsuits filed by universities, students, and advocacy groups. I guess the administration decided it was cheaper to simply reinstate this information, to update the system, to make sure that the visas were in good order, than to appeal all the cases that it was losing. As it turns out, the immigration system is complicated. These students had gone through the process, they've been vetted, they're paying their way through university, and their visas were stripped away from them for very minor reasons. And the administration decided, I guess, that they weren't that big of threats to the safety of the nation, and it wasn't worth appealing all these cases that they were losing, so they reinstated the visas.